So,
and you have no type of recourse to go and say, "Hey, y'all done did 4,500 in damage."
Yeah, they ain't gonna give a. They're not gonna care. The whole plot was they wanted to confiscate my money, and the money was with a bank receipt, like all that. It was in a bank envelope, everything, but they still tried like hell to confiscate the bread because they just want to associate us automatically to negativity. You know, nigga, you from the streets, all you drug dealing. What's with these pictures of you and all these Japanese dudes? I'm like, dude, I was an entertainer. I went on tour. They wouldn't believe that for nothing. So we already got a couple of strikes against us. We're trying to go up against the laws, you know what I'm saying? Especially when they have that prejudiced mind state.
Yeah, that's a big part of it. The other side of it is they just wanted that money, and they'll come up with any kind of excuse, just like they want to kill. They'll come up with any kind of excuse to kill you when they want to kill you. When they want that money, they'll come up with any kind of excuse to get that money. Whether they try to attach you to some type of drug activity, whether they try to attach you to a bank robbery or whatever, they just want that money. And the trip part about it is, even when they are dead wrong, even though when the evidence is clear and you have proof that it's your money, they can take your money anyway and make you fight to get the money back.
Oh, definitely.
And sometimes when you live out of state and they confiscate your money, you know, it might add up to where you say, you know what, man, it ain't even worth going back in this little small town where they run everything and they try to intimidate you. And hell, my life might be on the line going back there trying to get this money, you know, because, you know, you might think, well, they hit me up for $5,000. I got to go 2 states over to get my money, to try to get my money. I got to get a lawyer. And you know what? By the time I get the lawyer and keep going back and forth, man, it might be a wash. So you know what? Let them have it. So imagine how much money that people have just left behind and allowed them to just take and keep going. Imagine,
it's in the millions. It's in the millions.
Imagine how many people have had their homes burglarized by the police, invaded by the police, and they just took televisions and stuff and said, hey, we're confiscating this because it's drug property. It was bought with drug money. You know, so they do this all the time. It's actually a culture. This is part of what they do. And this is one of the biggest reasons why a lot of cops like to work in small towns, because you can get away with stuff like that a lot more often in smaller towns where the police chief is also the school superintendent. His wife work in the police department, in the permits department. His nephew and his son are the deputies. You know, his cousin is the land surveyor. You know, this is how they control people and intimidate people and they stack the deck in their favor. And this is why in the smaller towns, oftentimes you can see a whole lot more corruption than you'll see in these big cities. Because in the bigger cities, there's more of overseers, and there's more checks and balances. You dig? And there's more exposure. There's more media. So a lot of them, they'll try to move over to these little small towns so that they can run the cities and treat people like trash and get away with it.
Yeah, well, you know, with this particular guy and the way these guys were able to do with it is Nevada police officers, they have an adoption with the feds to where they can seize property. So that means if you come in that freeway from California, let's say we going to Vegas for the weekend, we taking our wives to Vegas for the weekend, and we may have $10,000, $15,000 cash. Let's say whatever it is, if it's $5,000, whatever, you go in there, they can pull you over and say, well, the dog smelt this and that on your money. Now, you know, every dollar in this United States, ain't no telling how much money don't pass through somewhere. It might have weed in it. It might have cocaine in it. It might have anything in it. But still, if they not charging you with a crime, they shouldn't be able to do that. But they changed the law because that's how they was getting away with stuff in places in Vegas. So that adoption thing where you can act like the feds and just seize people's thing, you can't do that no more. Because they said it was like something like $7 million in unclaimed money in Vegas that they just don't took from people over the years. Think about how many things think about now. You go to Vegas, you gamble. Let's say you win $10,000 and you on the way back home. What's to stop them from jacking you for that $10,000 and say, well, you ain't win this in no casino?
Right.
They can do whatever they want to.
It's unfortunate that it seems like, that's a never-ending story for us. You get me? For us people, dealing with the police and those situations of the brutality that we suffer behind the police. People don't want to shine light on it, but it's been going down for a long time, man. The killings, the injustice and all that shit. It's been going down in the neighborhoods, and now that it's spread out it ain't just us anymore. You feel me? Used to be the ghetto nigga or the project nigga or the nigga on the streets banging, selling dope. Now it could just be a regular citizen, man. You get me? You know what I'm saying? George Floyd, Sonia, how many people were killed in that time with George Floyd situation? It was a gang of us shot and killed. And it just, like you said, it just seems like they would to prove the point of, so what? It's still gonna happen. You know what I'm saying? It's like, so what? Y'all tried to put attention on one situation. And like I was trying to tell people, shit, we've gone through that shit for years. We've been going through police brutality for years, man. And not to put a dimmer on George Floyd or Sonia or any other Black person who has been, unfortunate to police. But we were seeing this shit go on for a long time. Sometimes it's unfazable to niggas because they used to come through the neighborhood and just do what the fuck. You get me? Jacking niggas, doing whatever they want, beating our asses, taking us to holding takes and putting us in jail for 24 hours just to get us off the street. We've been going through that shit for a long time. Getting our faces kicked in and beat up in the back of the police car or in the holding tanks, putting us in the cells with the enemies and shit and watching us fight it out on the motherfucking monitors in the holding tanks. I mean, shit, it's a lot of motherfucking brutality we've been through. You get me?
Will, since you've been a primary figure in Houston, have you suffered any abuse at the hands of police? Have you ever had something happen to where they tried to jam you up?
Once, but I kicked 3 of their asses that day, so I still won. That day I whipped the shit out of 3 of them. They was, one of them got out of line. I was in the club, right? Mm-hmm. Let me preface this by saying, you really don't want to get into it with the police unless you're ready to crash out. If you're ready to go way out, handle your business. Handle your business. I understand. But you really don't want to get into it with them because even if you win, you're going to lose, right? Case in point. I'm in the club. My partner goes into the girls' restroom. He got a cast on his leg. My partner is a cockhound. Boy, he crazy about women. He just woman crazy and just going to the women's restroom and chasing a woman. Next thing I know, they got him jacked all up. Keep in mind, he got a cast on his leg. Got a broken leg. They just got him jacked up, dragging him out the club. So I'm standing off the side. I say, hey, man, they passing by me. I said, I had my drink in my hand. I said, man, y'all ain't got to handle him like that. Now, keep in mind, I don't mess with the police. I stay out of their way. I limit my contact with them. This particular police officer was a shorter dude who was a little short, stocky, red dude, right? And he was a troublemaker. I always watched him in the club, how aggressive he was with Black folks. He was very aggressive. And so I always stayed out of his way. But on this particular day, I don't know, I guess got my partner, so I'm riding for my partner. So I say, yeah, y'all ain't got to handle him like that. And dude was like, well, you can get out too. So I had a drink in my hand and I set the drink down. I put the drink down and I kind of like slammed it on the table. I was like, yeah, I've been kicked out of better places. So I started marching out with him. So as I'm marching out, the cop stepped on the heel of my shoe. So I looked back at him and gave him the look. And now I'm saying now I'm cornered. Because I'm saying to myself, if he step on my foot again, I'm gonna piece him up. So I took a few more steps and he stepped on my foot again. I turned around, dropped him. And I know I gotta throw one hit or quitter because there's 3 of them. So I gotta, everything I gotta give it to him. So I turned around, hit him with bang, drop that boy. The other one come, he come a little, try to get a little aggressive. As soon as he got in right there where I could slide into him, I dropped him. Next one come, he saw the 2 get dropped. Now he coming, but he being a little bit more cautious. He really, really intimidated though. He's scared, but he coming anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I got up on him. I act like I was kind of like gonna spam, and so he got a little aggressive. And when I got him in that little range where I knew I could get him, I turned back around, dropped him. Every last one of them suckers in here, nothing. I hit every last one of them with a one hit or quitter, one punch. Hit the thousand, I knocked their ass out with one punch. You know what I'm saying? And after I drop them, it's 2 big white cops behind me at the door because I'm trying to get out the door. I'm probably about 6, 7, 8 steps away from the door. I know once I hit this door, I'm gone because I'm in the parking lot and it's cars everywhere. I know the area like the back of my hand. So I'm gone. I'm trying to get to the back to the door. The 2 white cops blocked my way out. You know, they blocked the entry and I couldn't get out. So they tackled me on the ground. All of them, they rushed me and tackled me on the ground. And the one who started the fight stole on me. He hit me in the eye. And long story short, I was on probation. I was on 10 years probation. This is right at the start of the Ghetto Boys. This is like 1989, 90. So this is right when we starting to heat up. And I was already on 10 years probation. Now I got a assault against a police officer, 3. And I got to get out of this, bro. Because if I don't get out of this, the whole landscape in H-Town is dead. Hip hop different, gonna be different in H-Town and in the South. If I don't get out of this right here. In any event, dude showed up to court for the hearing, and he had amnesia. He told a different story, and then judge dismissed the case. Now, again, I wouldn't advise anybody to get into it with the police unless you're ready to crash out, unless you're ready to go all the way out. And I wouldn't advise anybody to just allow themselves to be murdered. You know what I'm saying? Like, I hear people saying like, yo, man, you got to kill me. You got to kill me. Kill me? I'll be thinking the opposite. You know what I'm saying? I don't be thinking
for real.
I just letting them take me, like, get me. You know what I'm saying? So if you ain't willing to go all the way out, crash out, I would say don't even try it, man. Go ahead and comply. Go ahead and deal with it. Stay away from them. When you're around the police, really what you want to do is limit your contact with them, and you want to get them out of your face as soon as possible. So when you get pulled over by the police, even if they profile you, which they often do, even if they profile you, even if you feel like they're wrong, don't do what I did when I was a youngster and I was driving that brand new Lexus when it first came out. When Lexus first came out, I had the big one, and I'm riding down the freeway. They pulled me over in rush hour traffic. Now, you know the police do not pull people over in rush hour traffic on the freeway. They pulled me over in rush hour traffic on the freeway in Houston, and I'm hot because I know these fools pulling me over because I'm black. He profiling me. Out of all these thousands of damn cars on the freeway.
Yeah, especially in the rush hour traffic.
He pulled me over in rush hour traffic, and I'm hot. Man, what you pull me over for? Say, the fuck you pull me? So I'm hot. So he finally was like, yeah, well, this car matched the description of a stolen vehicle. I say, man, you know, goddamn well this car ain't stolen. I just bought this car because I had the fresh tags on the back. I said, I just bought this car. You know it. And then he walked back up to me, gave me my ID back, and just drove off. You know, So I would advise, don't act like I act, don't behave like I did. That's really not the right way to do, because at the end of the day, I know that it's hard to believe, but police officers are people too. You know, they are people, just that some of them behave like uncivilized mutts, so it's easy to forget that. But they got feelings, they got emotions, they got pride, and when they got their badge on, just like anybody in the position of authority, they want their respect. And if they don't get it, you're gonna have some problems.